Oi, oi, alright, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is Doodle Review. Those that have been with us for a while know what's up. If you've just stumbled on us, we review music. Our thing is that we put a lot of emphasis on alternative rock and punk, hitting a band within that scene kind of every day or so. So if that is your vibe, mate, just give us a subscribe. You'll definitely hear me tackle a band you know about in a matter of days, and you might just come across some stuff that you don't yet know that you're going to love. Today we're jumping into the twisted world of the Dwarves. Dwarves are a punk band formed in Chicago in the mid-80s, but these days call San Francisco their home. Concept album is the band's 15th record, and at 20 tracks it's a big one. To be honest with you, Dwarves are a bit of a tricky band to review because they're not a brain band, they're a blood band. Okay, so this is a bad analogy, but I'll ride this one out. What I mean is they're a band designed to get your blood pumping anywhere but your brain. If you were in the room with them at a Dwarves show, you're not going to be thinking, you'll be into it in the pit, or at least trying to avoid getting hit by someone that is into it. And in some respects, that's one of the band's greatest strengths. They're blunt and to the point, and more importantly, they don't labour that point. By the time you might have gotten around to thinking, oh, this one's a bit mid, like as I did here on the record with songs like Nobody and Me and Roxette. Although the bridge of Nobody definitely proves why Nick Oliveri is still such a G on the bass. But by the time I'd managed to even finish typing the words meh in my notes, the song was over. There's one exception to that with this song called Do It All the Time, which is this weird chuggy kind of sci-fi track that feels like it goes on way longer than its 2-minute runtime. But yeah, the band do not hang about or waste time for the most part. And don't mistake my stupid analogy about this group of punks not being a brain band as some sort of jibe at them for being unsophisticated, because their biggest strength next to their capability to write fast-paced songs that tap into the pure adrenaline id is actually the songwriting. Frontman and main songwriter Blag Dahlia is one of those rare musicians, especially in heavier music scenes, that has completely cracked the code of pop songwriting. The guy's like Neo in The Matrix. He can just see hooks, riffs, choruses and sticky song structures and pull them all together like few others can. The thing with Blag though, like some sort of comic book villain, or let's stick with the Matrix thing like Smith, he made a choice early on to use his power for evil. Anyone who's got any familiarity with the Dwarves will know that one of the constant themes that run through all of their music is debauchery. Now, to try and armchair intellectualize the music of the Dwarves is to kind of instantly lose. They defy deep criticism because I can already tell you the response from the band or any of their fans. It starts with F and ends with "you." But overanalyzing things that don't need it's kind of my thing. So I'll happily take the L here and try, because what I'm about to say is at the core of why there's a bunch of this album that I don't really like. Let's take the first proper track on the album, Feeling Great, as an example. This typifies what I mean about Blag's songwriting chops. Instrumentally, this is such a neat and clean pop song, it could literally soundtrack a kids' TV show, before you layer on the debauched lyrics about needing sex and masturbation, among other things. My problem isn't that I'm a pearl clutcher, it's the fact that the song itself sounds like I'm about to be introduced to an 8-foot foam dinosaur, like, hey kids! Look, I get it, that's the joke, right? The juxtaposition of the happy-go-lucky music as the backdrop to the dirty lyrics, cool. I get it, but at the end of the day, I'm still listening to what sounds like the soundtrack to a Barney episode about getting his first skateboard. There's Everybody Squirts, which touches on kind of a similar thing, but to be honest, the instrumental here is enough on the edgier side that while juvenile as hell, it's actually pretty fun. I feel like the same thing applies to the now typical tracks about sleazing on some underage or super young chick like 16 or We Will Dare. It's like, I get the joke, the subversiveness, the look how wild, we just don't care, but rarely is the music good enough to make you not aware that you're just kind of listening to the fantasies of a lechy old dude. That being said, I kind of appreciate the provocation of the song 16, where lyrically it just says the woman in question's name is 16 without making reference to their age. I like the conversation that starts, the fact that to an extent the controversy is actually all in the listener's mind, it's not explicit, but even so, we all know what we're talking about. Believe it or not though, I'm not all down on this album. Remember, there's actually 20 tracks on this album, and my various criticisms about some being bland or some just kind of peddling tired jokes actually only apply to about 8 out of 8 or 10. Voodoo, Ages Ago and Terrorist of Love are all killer punk rock tunes, with the latter in particular being a great example of when Blag's subversive, extreme lyrical humour still work while banging out a song that's actually badass. That track ends with a fun little nod to the Yardbirds' For Your Love, and on that kind of fun 60s gesturing tip, we also have the rockabilly number Dead to Me, which is really fun with great jangly guitars and B3 organs. You Lose We Win is a killer track with a real Motorhead feel, channeling late era Phil Campbell in the track's final moments, and later in the album we have Parasite, which might utilise an extremely well trodden riff across the history of rock and roll, but this track in particular highlights the absolutely killer performances on the album, which just sounds like a solid, tight band hashing it out live in the studio with impeccable production. So yeah, there's enough material here that you could quite easily carve out a pretty awesome 12 or 13 track album, but as it stands at 20 tracks with some of those mid or cringe moments, for me it's probably about a 5.8. And that's that. Like, if you've heard this, just give me a shout, man. Let me know what you think. I'm always keen to hear from people, and if you haven't, maybe give it a shot and come back. Let me know how you get on. Subscribe, share some thoughts, show some love, or just wholesome abuse in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, mate. Bye bye.